going back a long way, over the course of the last 2 years, I've mentioned to a number of very important people, including the Secretary of the Treasury and the head of the Federal Reserve Board, Ben Bernanke, that our economy was on the edge of a recession. And they took the attitude that that wasn't the case. They couldn't see any evidence of near recession. And they weren't prepared to do anything particular about it, even though there was a reduction in interest rates. But there was no effective way that they put into place to deal with the kind of wild speculation that had been going on in the market. And of course, that wild speculation had a lot of adverse effects, including driving up the price of oil. And we're seeing the price of oil drop down now. It's down to about $3.30 a gallon on average across the country. And the main reason that it's gone down is because of the absence of this speculation. Not that it's completely absent, but that a lot of the speculation has disappeared. We're not seeing that wild driving up speculation, driving up the price of a gallon of a barrel of oil, rather. So in any case, based upon some experience, and that experience goes back to the 1930s, when dealing with the Depression, we had an administration that realized that not just giving money away, but buying into the problem was a much better way to deal with it, to make sure that if you were successful in recovering the economic circumstances, that the people who put in the money, the public, wasn't going to be the losers. And so that change has come about. I think most recently that change has come about as a result of the direction of other countries, particularly Great Britain, in this particular case, showing the example that they did. However, there's a lot more that needs to be done, and we're going back into a lame duck session in November. And one of the things that I've been arguing about for a long time is that we've got to deal with the general economy, not just this aspect of it, not just this hedge fund, not just this investment aspect of it on behalf of the large, big investment banks. We've got to deal with it from the point of view of the needs of our country and the needs of our people. We've had 8 years of an administration which has resisted and opposed constructive reinvestment in our own country. Nevertheless, they continue to spend between $10 and $12 billion a month after month, in Iraq on that military occupation there. That's a true wasteful means of spending. And they've allowed a lot of waste out in the private sector through hedge funds and through investment and these huge investment banks, which is the main cause of the problem that we're confronting. The national debt is not about to approach $10 trillion. The national debt by the end of this administration is going to be above $10 trillion. The estimated national debt is to be more than $10 trillion by the time of the Bush administration ends. And that comes about as a result of the very radical way in which this administration has engaged in its economic policies. Wasting money outside of the country, borrowing huge amounts of money, spending huge amounts outside, not doing anything to try to bring us to a situation where we could arrive at energy independence. And this is something that I have been pushing for a long time and continue to push. We need to be energy independent. We need to move ourselves away from our dependence on foreign oil. We're now using about 70% of the oil that we use comes from outside the country. So we're borrowing huge amounts of money in China. We're spending huge amounts of money in places like Saudi Arabia and elsewhere out of the country. The oil expenditures outside of America are now at the rate of several hundreds of billions of dollars. If it hadn't been for the decline in the price, that would have gone up to about $500 billion. Now it's going to be, nevertheless, above $400 billion this year alone. This is something that has got to stop. So what Obama is talking about in terms of investments in small business is very sound and very secure. And this is something that I've been doing here in my own way in this particular district for a long time. I'm a member of the Appropriations Committee. The Appropriations Committee in the House of Representatives is generally recognized as the most significant committee in the Congress because it has responsibility for determining the expenditures on the kinds of things that we do and hopefully focusing on the things that we need. And that's what I've been doing, and bringing very substantial amounts of money here into this community to upgrade the basic infrastructure here in Middletown, in Newburgh, and elsewhere throughout Orange County and across this congressional district. That's what we need to do. We need investment here internally in our own country. We need an administration that is not going to try to stop that, as this administration has. We need an administration that recognizes that our main obligation and responsibility is that to the people here in our own country. And the working class of America, the blue and white collar working people, middle class, drive the gross domestic product, which is the main element of our economy. That GDP is driven by roughly 66% of the working people of America. And that's where the focus of our attention has got to be.